This is Jordan from Jersey, and this is what I thought of the comics I read the week of March 24th, 2010. We'll start things off this week with Prelude to Deadpool Corps, issue 4 of 5. This issue focuses on Deadpool, the zombified head of Deadpool from another universe, and sets up in the timeline where this whole Deadpool Corps thing happens. It's going to be after Deadpool Work with a Mouth, which is apparently a 13-issue limited series, and it also happens after the pirate arc of Deadpool, the main series, one I really, really liked, by the way, so now we know how it relates to both of those. The story itself was fairly forgettable, but the jokes were pretty funny, which actually makes it better than our next book, Deadpool 21. Now, that's not to say this issue was bad by any stretch of the imagination. It was good, it just wasn't as funny as the Deadpool core book. This week we finish up the Hitmonkey arc as Spider-Man and Deadpool team up to take out the nefarious assassin of assassins. And while it was a decent arc, it does disappoint me that a arc focusing on Spider-Man and Deadpool, two of the funnier characters of the Marvel Universe, wasn't particularly all that funny, but whatever. Deadpool, it can be fairly hit or miss. On the humor side, this one was kind of a miss. Whatever. It'll be better next week, maybe, or maybe it'll be worse. There's so many Deadpool books out right now. By the time you get to the next one, hey, it can change a lot. Then we have Siege Time with Thunderbolts 142. This issue's been pretty universally trashed from the reviews I've been reading, and I don't know why. I actually kind of liked it. It involved the Avengers versus the Thunderbolts. It was a group of Avengers I'm not entirely all that familiar with. Amadeus Cho, I know he's from Hercules, U.S. Agent, and somebody else who I forget off the top of my head. But the Thunderbolts are still out trying to get the Spear of Odin, and that's pretty much all the issue focuses on. Last issue, they were attacked by the Avengers. This issue, they fight them, and Siege falls. What happens in Siege 3. And it looks like they're going to a conclusion. I mean, I think the next issue, or the one after that, is the final issue of Thunderbolts in this incarnation. It doesn't look like Ant-Man's in the next one, so I kind of worry he might be one of the characters to die this arc. Hopefully not, but we'll find out. Another book that's ending in one or maybe two issues is Avengers the Initiative. Right here we have issue 34. I didn't like issue 34 quite as much as I did the last 2 or 3. Wasn't bad, I just liked how those particular issues seemed to focus more on just 1 or 2 characters. These issues, they focused on a broader amount and less on Asgard, more on Camp Hammer. It's fine. I certainly like the series. I certainly like all those characters, but I prefer issues where they, narrow their focus. If you read issue number 3 of Siege, you got to see Captain America. I think both of them fight Taskmaster. You definitely get to see both of them here. You might have just seen one in Siege, but you got to see both fight him here. It was an extended version of the fight. It was very cool. And yeah, I can't wait to see how they resolve this series. I'm definitely going to be checking out Avengers Academy or Avengers the Academy. I'm not sure what the title is in the heroic age, but this certainly was one of my favorite books while it lasted. Avengers the Initiative. Pick it up. One of those books you could probably pick up and trade and read fairly easily. And it provided some of the best stories from the last few years' crossovers. I don't know if it's the best version of Siege outside of the Siege book, but certainly Secret Invasion was best read in Avengers the Initiative and not in any other title, including Secret Invasion. So, whatever. Next up, from Marvel's Icon imprint, we have Nemesis issue number 1. Now, before I forget to mention it, Nemesis is most certainly an adults-only title. This is not for kids, just like pretty much all of Miller or Millar, depending on how you want to say it, it's stuff. This one for the adults, but if you're an adult, feel free to check it out. The central concept of the book is what if Bruce Wayne, instead of becoming Batman, became the Joker. He's brilliant, he's rich, he's enterprising, and he's evil. I was kind of middle of the road with this first issue. I'm going to stick with it. I've liked Millar stuff, Kick-Ass and Wanted and Old Man Logan, all really good stuff. This one didn't grab me, but we'll see where it goes. Wasn't huge on the art. I read the same in a lot of other reviews. Why were so many of the backgrounds just solid colors? I'd like something else to look at. And also the story seemed kind of generic. But hey, like I said, it's Millar. You hope he's going to introduce some kind of major twist there. And it was kind of cool to see what happened with Air Force One. I won't spoil it, but if you like to see planes explode or do other kind of crazy things, you want to check out Nemesis issue number 1. The Amazing Spider-Man issue 626 focuses on Spider-Man versus a female version of the Scorpion as she attempts to get the original Mac Gargan Scorpion suit from the Hood and a group of thugs. The story was fine, nothing particularly amazing. I did find it interesting that Spider-Man's roommate is a lawyer. I don't think I'd ever picked up on that fact before. I'm sure they've said it, but it never caught on, and certainly the way she acts, I didn't quite get that impression from her, but apparently she is a lawyer. Peter, as Spider-Man, gets a bad Spider-Sense vibe off of her new boyfriend, so he follows him down to a construction site where he finds the Hood and a bunch of his thugs and Scorpion and all that kind of stuff. The real highlight from this actual issue was the art. It was a painted style, very noir-ish, very murky, very cool to look at. Week to week, one of my favorite things about the Spider-Man book is not the writing, although it's usually very good. It's not Spider-Man, although I love the character. It's the fact that Marvel is really going out there to find new and innovative and just different artists. Because most of the books I look at every week, they're all in the same very narrow vein. And it's cool to see branching out. Here's a painted style. Here's a noir style. Here's a classic style. Here's just something different. It makes the book interesting. It makes it fun to read every week. And so Marvel, I thank you for that. Locke and Key, Crown of Shadows, number 4, continues this book's trend of being awesome. Last issue, the villain of the series put the titular Crown of Shadows on his head and awakened all the shadows of Key House. And this issue, the siblings have to defend their home in some interesting ways, including the usage of a brand new key, which has some interesting results. Month to month, the series continues to be innovating, fun, and just one of the most interesting comics on the stand. Pick it up. It's really not that much of a commitment. There's only 2 trades out ahead of these 4 issues, and it's well worth your time and money because it is a really cool series. And finally this week, we have Secret Warriors issue number 14, where we get the history of Leviathan. Or more specifically, we get the backstory of Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine and her relationship to Leviathan. That's right, it seems Madame Hydra, who we thought was actually Turncoat working with Nick Fury, might actually be working for the Russians. Additionally, we also get the fallout of Druid's firing from last issue, which turns out to be quite interesting. This is another one of those books where I gotta say, if you're not buying it, why? It's awesome. You don't need to know any of the characters going in, although you probably want to start from the beginning. It would certainly help because this is a complex story. And you don't really need to know any backstory. I certainly don't, and I enjoy every issue. It's got great writing, it's got great art, it's got really interesting characters who we find out more and more about every issue, and it's one of my favorite books every month. Well, that's it for the comics I read the week of March 24th, 2010. Don't forget, subscribe to my videos, check out my Lost reviews. I'll see you next week. Have a good one. And hey, if you have any ideas, what shows should I review when Lost is done? What other things would you want to be reviewed? Put it in the comments. I'd love to know. You know, my Lost reviews get a lot more views than my comic reviews. So if there's something else you guys really want me to review, I'm probably willing to do it. Unless it's like Smallville or something, because come on. I'm not that bored.